At Vegas 45, Lewis versus Daukaus takes place in only a matter of hours, and I'm going to go through my last minute detailed prediction and breakdown for every single fight on the card, starting with the early prelims, ending with the main events. I'm not just saying who I believe is going to win. I did that earlier this week. I'm trying to call how every single fight will go, start to finish, what the scorecards are going to be, what limb will be used for a KO, what submission will be achieved if there is a submission victory. I'm going to start with the early prelim opener of Jourdain Leavitt versus Matt Sayles. Now, I'm going to go with Jourdain Leavitt. I'm going to pick him by submission, and I'm going to pick him by submission in the first round. I believe that Jourdain Leavitt has got much better grappling than Matt Sayles. I think Matt Sayles is going to land a couple of good shots on the feet. Leavitt's going to adjust, land a couple of good shots back. He's going to shoot a takedown, not get it first of all. Matt Sayles is going to show good takedown defense at the start of the first round. Then they're going to go back to the feet. Matt Sayles is still going to land a couple of decent shots on Jourdain Leavitt. Jourdain Leavitt's going to start to get a little bit more comfortable, land a couple of big shots on the feet on Matt Sayles, and then he's going to go for the takedown. Take down Matt Sayles at the halfway point of the first round, get on top of him, get into half guard, land some total strikes. Matt Sayles is going to be annoyed because he wants to make sure that he wins this round and doesn't completely lose it, so he's going to scramble to get back up to his feet, where Jourdain Leavitt's going to get on top, pass over, take the back of Matt Sayles and start to sort of pound him out from the back position, mounted. Then Matt Sayles is going to turn over, give up full mount, try and hip escape out of it and give up an arm triangle submission at the end of the first round to Jourdain Leavitt. I'm going to go the first round arm triangle for Jourdain Leavitt. I reckon he gets this one done by first round submission. Moving on up the card, Don'Tale Mayes versus Josh Parisian. I'm going to go with Don'Tale Mayes. And I'm going to pick Don'Tale Mayes by KO, I reckon. I think it's going to be a KO win for Don'Tale Mayes. I think I'm going to call a Travis Browne elbow KO for Don'Tale Mayes. I think he's going to land some good shots on the feet in the first round. Same with Josh Parisian. He's going to throw some spinning shit early, go to the body with a spinning back kick, try and land a spinning back fist, but Mayes is going to dodge it and land a big punch on him. That's going to make Josh Parisian not want to spin too much anymore because he's leaving himself vulnerable. Then Josh Parisian's going to come in, try and fight a little bit more orthodox, try and go like sort of blow for blow rather than all the spinning attacks and the head kicks from the outside, and Don'Tale Mayes is going to beat him there and land a big right hand square on his chin, and then Josh Parisian's going to shoot for a takedown because he realizes he's been hurt, and that's when he's going to stick himself into a double leg position against a cage, and Don'Tale Mayes is going to land those Travis Browne elbows over and over and over again to the behind the ear area of Josh Parisian, and then Josh Parisian will go down and get finished in the first round by Travis Browne elbows to the back of the head is what I'm going to say. Not the back of the head, the sort of behind the ear area. Perfectly legal. Don'Tale Mayes gets it done with Travis Browne elbows in the first round after rocking Parisian on the feet. Moving on up the card, Raquel Pennington versus Macy Chiasson. I'm going to go with Raquel Pennington, and I'm going to pick her to win this one by 29-28 unanimous decision. I can see maybe Raquel Pennington winning herself the first two rounds here. I think she's going to get this one done in the first two, 29-28. I think she'll just hold Macy Chiasson against the cage, land knees to the thigh, land knees to the body, land a couple of body shots here and there, win the exchanges on the feet. I think as the fight goes on, Macy Chiasson might win a scramble and end up getting a takedown and ended up in half guard in the third round, landing total strikes for her victory, but not enough to get a 10-8 round. So I think in the first two rounds, Raquel Pennington pushing her up against the cage, a very Usman-esque game plan, getting the double unders, going for a couple of trips and sweeps, maybe getting a couple of them, but not really achieving too much positional control. But she'll use that to land knees to the thigh and knees to the body as Macy Chiasson works her way back up against the cage. She'll be out pressured early on and lose the first two rounds, but then Macy Chiasson gets a moment in the third, starts landing some decent shots, but it's too little too late against Raquel Pennington, and I think Pennington secures herself the win 29-28. Moving on up the card, Charles Jourdain versus Andre Ewell. I'm going to go with Charles Jourdain via second round TKO. I believe that they're going to have a bit of a firefight early on. Ewell's going to land a couple of big shots on the chin of Charles Jourdain. I feel like Andre Ewell's range is going to be a shock for Charles Jourdain, because usually when you've got a guy coming up from the lower division, you expect to have sort of like the range advantage and the size advantage over them, but Andre Ewell's got a 6-inch reach advantage, so I do believe that he's going to go out there, land a couple of big shots early on the hands. Charles Jourdain's going to be winging shots to the body, winging shots to the legs with body kicks and leg kicks, landing over and over again. Ewell's going to slowly start to feel those towards the end of the first round. I believe also at the end of the first round, Charles Jourdain's going to land a bunch of body kicks, and Ewell's going to try defending them with his forearm. Ewell has had his forearm broken, I believe, twice in MMA fights now, and I think it's going to happen again against Charles Jourdain here, who's got devastating kicks and does not mind kicking the body. I think he's going to smash into the arms with some kicks, and I think Ewell's going to break his forearm. Then the second round comes around, and more of the same thing. Charles Jourdain chopping at the legs, Andre Ewell not liking it too much, trying to land some big shots back on the feet early, land some big punches at range, and shock Charles Jourdain, but Jourdain's going to take them well, land some good shots of his own, then go back to the leg kick. Ewell's really broken down now, he's got a bad forearm, he's limping all over the place, and that's when he's going to go in for a big shot, and Jourdain is going to beat him to the punch with a tight right hook, square on the jaw, and down goes Andre Ewell. I think Jourdain gets this one done by second round TKO, dropping Andre Ewell with a big punch in the second round around the midway point. Moving on up the card, Sijara Eubanks versus Melissa Gatto. I'm going to call a first round armbar submission for Melissa Gatto here. I think Sijara Eubanks is going to go on the feet a little bit early on. Gatto's going to land a couple of good body kicks and kicks at range, but Sijara Eubanks will start roughing her up against the cage, landing some big shots. She'll push Melissa Gatto up against the cage around the midway point of this first round, land some good shots there, some good knees to the body, some good uppercuts in a single collar position because she's too strong. Then Melissa Gatto, who can't get herself off against the back of the cage and back to the open, is going to opt to pull guard on bottom. Sijara Eubanks is going to start winning this position, landing big shots, and I think in her sort of excitement of landing those big shots in the first round of ground and pound, she's going to leave her arm vulnerable, and that's where Melissa Gatto is going to snatch up the arm triangle, or not the arm triangle, the arm bar from on bottom in the first round for Melissa Gatto. She gets this one done by first round sub. Moving on up the card, Justin Tafa versus Harry Hunsucker. I'm going to go with a third round TKO for Justin Tafa, which I don't really like because he did just miss weight for his fucking heavyweight fight, which is crazy. But I say Harry Hunsucker lands some good shots early. I think he might drop Justin Tafa early, but Tafa's going to survive, work his way back up to his feet, shoot a takedown, maybe get it towards the end of the first round and sort of save himself that round from being 10-8'd, land some good shots back of his own. I think he'll be landing body kicks and leg kicks throughout the first round. Hunsucker's going to go into the second round, looking to land big shots again. It's not going to work out for him, no, as much. Now Tafa is starting to land a couple of big shots back on the feet, included with those leg kicks and body kicks that he's going to be landing all night long. Hunsucker's going to try chopping at the legs of Tafa, but it's not going to have the same effect. And now Tafa's going to shoot again. He is fire against the cage, lands some big shots there. Third round comes around. Harry Hunsucker's completely exhausted. He tried to blow out his energy looking for a finish in the first round after dropping Justin Tafa, and those body kicks are starting to add up. The leg kicks are starting to add up, and he's just going to crumple and fall against the cage from taking too much damage, and Tafa's going to finish him off with some ground and pound shots. Justin Tafa gets this one done by TKO in the third round. Moving on up the card, Dustin Stoltzfus versus Gerald Meerschaert. I'm going to go with the classic Meerschaert third round guillotine. Why not, you know? It's his signature move. I reckon Stoltzfus is going to give him some problems early. I think Meerschaert's going to be going to the body, to the legs. Stoltzfus is going to be landing some good shots to the head on Meerschaert. A couple of decent ones, 1-2s here and there. I think he'll shoot a couple of takedowns. Meerschaert will get taken down but work his way back up. Then maybe even reverse it and end up on top in certain positions. When Stoltzfus is going for those takedowns, I think Meerschaert will end up on top, land a couple of big shots on Stoltzfus, but Stoltzfus will work his way back up and bail on the takedown because of this, and then they'll both be back up on their feet. Both guys landing good shots in the first round. Second round, I guess you can give the first round to Dustin Stoltzfus. He landed a couple of big shots on Meerschaert. Meerschaert goes out there trooping, tracking down Dustin Stoltzfus, landing good shots to the body, landing knees to the body, landing good shots upstairs. Dustin Stoltzfus is firing back now and again to keep Gerald Meerschaert honest, but it's not working out too well. He's had another bad round here. He's going to shoot for a takedown and Meerschaert's going to sprawl it, take the back position, land some big shots at ground and pound in the last minute or so in the second round. Stoltzfus is going to lose that round this time very clearly to Gerald Meerschaert. Then the third round comes around, same thing again. Stoltzfus has some success early with the punches. Meerschaert's going to land some good shots back. Then Stoltzfus is going to shoot in on like a leg kick of Gerald Meerschaert to try and get a double leg takedown, and then Gerald Meerschaert's going to sprawl it, latch up the guillotine, wrench it, fall to his back, and get the tap against Dustin Stoltzfus in the third round by third round guillotine choke, which Meerschaert is so good at. I'm going with that for Meerschaert. Moving on to the main card, Cub Swanson versus Darren Elkins. I think this is going to be an all-out war. I'm going to call a 29-28 victory for Cub Swanson here. Darren Elkins is very tough. I don't expect Cub Swanson to just walk over him and get an easy finish. I think he's going to piece up Darren Elkins in that first 2 rounds, though. But I think the 3rd round's going to be Darren Elkins here. Elkins is going to be trying to grapple. Swanson will be defending, and then not much will happen in that position. I think Elkins will just be failing takedowns against Cub Swanson and trying to hold him against a cage. But whenever they're at range, I think Cub Swanson's going to land some big shots. Start to tag up Darren Elkins, stumble him at one point, drop him at another point as well, but not really finish him because it's Darren the brain damage Elkins. Then Elkins will work his way back up into the fight a little bit towards the end of the 2nd round, but Swanson's still going to win that 2nd round very clearly after he wins the 1st as well. And then Darren Elkins is going to start to win the 3rd. He gets a takedown, lands some decent shots. Cub Swanson tucks over, keeps himself defensively aware, doesn't take too many big shots, but overall Darren Elkins is going to control the 3rd round, have his moments in the 3rd as well. Swanson's working his way back up. They're both slugging it out at the end of the 3rd. Now they're back on their feet, and it's a very close round towards the end, but Darren Elkins has won it based on the work he did at the start by wearing down Swanson and getting that takedown finally. But I'm going to go with Cub Swanson 29-28 unanimous decision based on the first 2 rounds. Moving on up the card, Carlos Diego Ferreira versus Mateusz Gamrot. I'm going to go with Mateusz Gamrot, 3rd round TKO over Carlos Diego Ferreira. I think Carlos Diego Ferreira is going to have some real good moments early on here. Land a couple of good shots on Mateusz Gamrot. I think Gamrot's going to be chopping at the legs, landing some good shots on the feet as well. Stalling against the cage, kneeing the fire, landing good knees to the body and good uppercuts in the single collar position. Landing good shots in the clinch like DC did against Gustafsson. Carlos Diego Ferreira is going to wing back though. Land good shots on the feet of his own. It's going to be a very high-paced fight. The 2nd round happens. They're grappling it a little bit more now that it's a bit more sweaty. Gamrot's going to like his chances a bit more now that there's more sweat in the octagon because he doesn't want to get caught by a submission. So he ends up taking down Carlos Diego Ferreira. They scramble for it for a very long time at the start of the 2nd round. Gamrot ends up on top in a very compromised position. Scrambles out of it, ends up in side control maybe. Couple of knees. He tries working for that Kimura, but Diego Ferreira defends very well. Tries settling back into half guard and lands total strikes towards the end of the round. Diego Ferreira scrambles, looks for a triangle. Gamrot scrambles out of it. Very scramble heavy 2nd round at an extremely high pace. Diego Ferreira goes for a triangle. Gamrot yanks his arm out, so Ferreira rolls backwards to get to his knees. Gamrot takes the backside, lands a couple of big shots, so Diego Ferreira rolls over again. Granby rolls out of it, looks for a leg or something like that, and Gamrot scrambles out of that one. Ends back up on top in like a stacked guard. Lands big shots in the mounted position, or not in the mounted position, but in the stacked guard position. Lands some good shots there. Diego Ferreira is starting to gas out a little bit, rolls backwards, stands up to his feet, starts trading back and forth with Gamrot at the end of the round. Gamrot lands a couple of big body shots at the end of the 2nd. Then the 3rd round comes around, Gamrot gets another takedown. Diego Ferreira tries the same scrambles again, rolls over, tries a triangle attempt, rolls backwards, tries to get back to his knees. Gamrot takes the backside position. This time he gets wrist control on the far side, pounds away the face of Diego Ferreira. You gotta move, Diego! Show me you're in there, Diego! And he can't really move. Big shots are landing. Gamrot's looking at the ref, much like Stipe was against JDS, and they're going to call off the fight by 3rd round TKO to Mateusz Gamrot. Moving on up the card, Raphael Assuncao versus Ricky Simón. I'm going to go with Ricky Simón here. I think he's going to win this one by decision. 29-28. I can see him losing the 3rd round here. I think he'll win the first 2 rounds based on taking down Raphael Assuncao, picking him up, slamming him down, taking half guard, landing total strikes, getting in full guard position when Assuncao reclaims full guard, landing good elbows there, escaping submission attempts, ending up on top, landing big shots again. I think I'll maybe call like a 29-27, if that's even possible. I believe it is possible, so he's going to lose a round, maybe get a 10-8 in the 1st or something like that, with a couple of close submission attempts and some ground and pound shots. 2nd round, he's going to win it quite clearly as well, but the 3rd round, I can see Assuncao starting to stuff some of those takedowns, work his way back up to his feet, and land some good shots on Simón. I think they're going to be trading back and forth at the end of the 3rd, but a round's going to go to Assuncao. So I'm going to call it 29-27 decision for a Simón. I think he has a couple of close submission attempts in the 1st, and just keeps top position for a very long long time there as well, winning himself that first round by 10-8, winning the second round and losing the third. Moving on up the card, Amanda Lemos versus Angela Hill. I'm going to go with Angela Hill. I think Lemos is going to swing hard early, land some good shots on Angela Hill, rock her a little bit and then sort of swing and go crazy for a finish. Hill's moving all over the place. She doesn't want to get finished, moving across the cage, really showing signs of fear of the power of Amanda Lemos. Lemos is trying to pour it on, land big shots again, but Hill's getting the clinch, landing some good knees in the middle of these exchanges, landing some good kicks to the body at range, some good front kicks, some good teep kicks, couple of good shots back on Lemos that makes her respect her a bit more. Then they slow down a little bit. Lemos lands another big shot in the first round that's going to rock Angela Hill again. Hill's moving, Lemos is swinging big, Hill's ducking and diving, shooting a couple of takedowns. She'll get a takedown, Lemos will get immediately back up with a big explosive movement, get back to her feet, Hill will throw a good knee to the body and then break again. Lemos still swinging because she knows she's rocked Angela Hill. Second round and third round, I can see Lemos starting to slow down. There's arguments that there should have been a 10-8 in the first, but she never dropped Angela Hill, so there isn't a 10-8 in the first. So I'm going to call a second and third round Angela Hill win, minorly outstriking Amanda Lemos in the second and getting a couple of takedowns, then dominating the third but not to a 10-8 by getting her down a couple of times, securing top position, landing total strikes and also outstriking her on the feet as well. Angela Hill 29-28 unanimous decision. Moving on up the card, Stephen Thompson versus Belal Muhammad. I'm going to go with Stephen Wonderboy Thompson by 30-26, unanimous decision over Belal Muhammad here. I think Belal Muhammad's going to try some takedowns. I think he's going to try and get respect on the feet early, which is going to get him caught a couple of times on the feet early. Wonderboy landing some good shots, landing those leg kicks at range, some head kicks as well, some side kicks to the body to push Belal backwards. Belal trying to keep the pressure on, but Wonderboy is going to zip and dive and move and dodge. And I should have said zig and zag. That's what I was going for there, rather than zip and dive. Dip and dive. That would have worked as well. Either way. Stephen Thompson landing good shots on the feet. Duck. I'm trying... Whatever. Just moving out the fucking way of the shots. That's all we have to explain it as. Moving out the fucking way of the shots. Dipping. Oh! Stop trying to make a fucking funny way of saying it. Moving out the way of the fucking shots against the cage. Making Belal miss. Landing good shots here and there. Side kick to the body. I think Belal's going to start feeling those body kicks as the round goes on. Couple of good stinging shots to the body from Wonderboy in the middle of his combinations as well. Like he'll go high, go to the body, and then go back high again. And then Belal Muhammad's going to start to feel that at the end of the first round. Start to shoot some takedowns at the end of the first. Can't quite get them. The game plan was to get respect on the feet early and then go for the takedowns afterwards. He hasn't been able to get the respect on the feet early, so Wonderboy's now able to stuff them. Maybe Belal gets him down at one point at the end of the first, but Wonderboy stays calm, gets back up on his knees against the cage, and Belal doesn't really do anything with it. So 10-9 Wonderboy. Then Belal in the second round is going to be getting outstruck again. Try shooting the takedowns. Maybe get one of them, but Wonderboy works his way back up against the cage, doesn't give up his back. Belal tries landing some good shots. Wonderboy works back to his feet, lands a good combination. Wheel kick, side kick, rocks Belal against the cage. Now Belal's sort of pissed a little bit. He's getting emotional. He's trying to go after Wonderboy, getting tagged up every time he does. Trying to tag him up, but can't really do it. He hasn't got the reach. He hasn't got the striking skill. Tries to shoot another takedown towards the end of the second. Doesn't get it. Shoots again with all of his might. Does get it, but he doesn't get anything from it. Wonderboy works his way back up to his feet against the cage. Belal tries to land a couple of big shots and like a good knee to the body. Wonderboy and Belal are against the cage. Wonderboy punching his head. Belal just holding on to the clinch position. About to go for another takedown. When he goes for it, Wonderboy's going to get the underhooks. Separate from against the cage. Land some big shots on Belal Muhammad at the end of the second round. Winning himself that one as well. In a very close round, Belal's got some takedowns. He's landed some good shots in those moments of his own, but Wonderboy's going to have outlanded him by like 10 strikes or something on the feet, so you've got to give the round to Wonderboy. Third round, Belal's going to get all emotional, try and go after Wonderboy, have some success early on with a takedown, but Wonderboy gets back up. Lands some good shots again. Belal's going to try and adjust and take the back position, but he can't quite get it. Wonderboy separates, puts Belal against the cage, lands some big shots. Belal tries charging after Wonderboy towards the midway point of the third round. Wonderboy drops him real bad, says, "Oh, sorry about that, man." Gives him a high five, lets Belal back up, says he supports Palestine and all that stuff, just tries to be a bit of a peace treaty guy or something like that. Peace in the Middle East. I think he'll scream that out at one point in the third round. And then Belal Muhammad gets back up. Tries going after Wonderboy again, starts doing all this stuff to Wonderboy, like, come and get me and all that, and Wonderboy's just like, no, fuck you, I'll just sort of swat you away like a bitch from range. Side kick to the body, couple of shots upstairs, Belal still charging forward, gets dropped again suddenly. Wonderboy's like, oh, so sorry, dude, get back up, you know, I read the Quran, or whatever you read, and then stands back up, Belal Muhammad again, more big shots from Stephen Thompson, down goes Belal Muhammad, and then Belal Muhammad sort of survives till the third round, shooting on a takedown against the cage, while Wonderboy punches his head while defending it. Wonderboy's won the third round 10-8 and won the first 2 rounds as well. 30-26, unanimous decision for Stephen Thompson. Moving on to the main event, Derrick Lewis versus Chris Daukaus. I'm going to go with Derrick Lewis by first round KO here over Chris Daukaus. And there's not really much to break down in this one. I reckon Chris Daukaus is going to look to be very patient early on, try and find his shots. I think he's going to go for a couple of exchanges and get tagged big time on the chin. And then he's going to try and go in again, be a bit more patient, chop at the legs from range, land a couple of good shots. Derrick Lewis throws like a jumping switch kick that gets blocked by Daukaus' arms, but shows him that Lewis is still dangerous. Lewis jumps in on like an oblique kick situation. I think that could happen as well. Then I'm going to call Derrick Lewis sort of going for that sort of running man sweep that he does. Don't even know what it's called, but it's like a running man sweep where he sort of runs into them. Holloway did this to Pettis. Condit did this to Matt Brown as well, where he sort of runs into them, sweeps out the legs from underneath them and ends up on top, and then lands some big shots on Daukaus, who covers up, rolls over, works his way back up to his feet. Lewis is pounding him against the cage, but Daukaus starts swinging back and catches Lewis. Lewis is stumbling backwards, and because he's being hit by a big shot from Daukaus, Daukaus is like, oh my god, this is my big moment. Goes after Derrick Lewis, tries to throw his combination punches while switching stances. Lewis plants his feet, big right hand. Oh, down goes Chris Daukaus. Greg Hardy, Taito Ivasa style in the first round. At the end of the first round, Derrick Lewis gets a one-punch KO. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Click that button up there. Toodle pip, I'll see you later. Goodbye.